guys in Cooldown.
I think you just have to let those cheers echo for a moment. What a monumental day for Europe and the LEC. Welcome to World's Cooldown. I'm Dracos, joined by Yamato, Cannon, and Frosk. 3 seeds through.
Is this the high five moment?
You screw it. Yeah, it's a high five moment. Let's get it.
No.
Cue up the bias thread. We'll be in later. We're having a good time.
I'm ready to start taking some shots if we're going to go. I saw a lot of flames. Blyce got it shaky. G2 fell down to Griffin. 3 seeds. 3 seeds of the LEC have made it out of group stage. I think, is that the first time ever?
Yes.
The first time ever on home soil, Europe will send all 3 teams towards the knockout stage.
Holy moly. It's crazy. I can't believe this just happened, because coming into the day, you hyped up this Group D. There was the group of death, and everyone thought it's kind of over because Fnatic looked so shaky in week 1, and then on this day, it all delivered. It all panned out. All of a sudden, you saw these teams that were so closely matched, and we saw very competitive games. So I need the cooldown. What's up?
I know. It's just so crazy because it was also the way that it was done. It was the fact that it was blue side Fnatic, insta-lock Xayah. You're looking across at Uzi. This is so many times that Reckless has taken a run at this guy and not gotten the last laugh. To finally stand tall, get his champion. He's got Hilly next to him on his signature pike. And I know that Reckless said he's like, you know, I didn't really do much that game, but he overcome so much there. He really did conquer his demons. There had been such a mental block.
When we talk about the world song, usually I think it's like your own little fears, but like Uzi is literally Reckless's demon, and he just beat Uzi. Like, what more direct one-to-one metaphor can you ask for in the final moments of this group? It's a stunning day. It is a miraculous run. And if you told me just the SKT game, I was going to believe it. If you told me the SKT and the RNG game, especially after that first clutch game, this was the biggest emotional roller coaster of the day for any European viewer.
Honestly, I'm thinking about that SKT game and how it started, because it looked so grim in the beginning. Hylissang was on 0-2, and I think Kaiser was 2-0 already, and everything looked grim. And then SKT made that mistake, and Fnatic was like, wow, we can win. And then after that victory, they just took that confidence, took it onto the stage in the last game, and showed up in the Fnatic that we know and love from Europe.
Know and love. It's about the ceiling and the variance. It feels like this tournament has had so much variance in it just because of the nature of how this meta and how League of Legends is played now. You have to be of a certain mechanical bar. And the reason why I had so much faith in the LEC teams, especially G2 and Fnatic, is because I knew that they were at that mechanical bar. That if they reached their ceiling, they could be one of the best teams in the world, favorites to win the tournament. And it feels like finally vindicated. Fnatic fans got to see what we always knew was there when it mattered most.
And I think overall, when you look back at week 1, I think if half of the Fnatic fans in the world doubted them, if 90% of the Fnatic fans in the world doubted them, I wouldn't blame them. Because it was so disastrous, and it was so inconsistent, and it was so uncharacteristic. Brox was invisible, and Bubba was dying left and right. And you were watching Garen Yuumi from your roaming bot laner and your all-star support. And while you got to respect the attempt at the strategy, the turnaround here is still just so monumental.
I'm just so happy that Fnatic finally recognized their strength. Even during the finals against G2, I was referring to this recipe about leaving Whip on island, play through bottom, put Reckless in a position where he can play that carry that will eventually reach the point that just is destruction mode. And with Hylissang and, of course, Broxa impacting the map in their way, when Fnatic begin to flow in a way where they take tower after tower, use fog in such a beautiful way, finally we got to see it.
For me, it was the recognition as I was kind of like, I've never been so nervous about making a prediction. Like, I really was up here just like pacing back and forth. I was like, oh no, it's RNG versus Fnatic. What am I supposed to do? But it was the fact that this is no longer RNG light, that Fnatic had rebuilt the roster, that they had so many more playstyles. They couldn't lose in the same way that they had. And I think we sometimes fall into this trap of looking at history and then always assuming that because all of this years of gameplay means that that's what the future holds. But while there is destiny, there is no fate. And Fnatic's fate wasn't sealed just because they were across from Uzi today. They were destined to meet, but changed the course of history right here.
Wise words. I think we'll end on that. I think Fnatic, once again, a fantastic day. But of course, not the only team to make it through. SKT still dominating this group, securing first seed. And earlier today, Lore caught up with Faker.
Thanks, guys. Laure here, and joining me right now is Faker after SKT grabbed the first seed of their group. And you could have done the perfect run if it wasn't for the lose against Fnatic earlier, which was surprising given how dominant you've been so far. So what have you been able to learn from this defeat?
네, 우선 승리와 이제 1번 시드 확정 지은 거 정말 축하드려요. 하지만 이제 전승을 할 수도 있었는데 푸나틱 상대로 아깝게 게임을 하나 이제 떨궜습니다. 그러면 워낙 압도적인 경기력을 보여준 만큼 어느 점에 좀 놀라셨고 푸나틱전에서 어떤 걸 배우셨나요?
저희가 6승을 오늘 하고 싶었는데 6승을 못하게 돼서 좀 아쉬운 것 같고요. 푸나틱전에서 저희가 실수를 연달아하면서 되게 좀 안 좋게 패배를 했었는데 그래서 좀 앞으로 더 보강할 점이 많다는 것이 저희가 배울 점이었던 것 같습니다.
So yeah, really wanted to get the 6 clean score today, but we were not able to make it happen today. I'm a little bit sad, but well, there were a lot of consecutive mistakes in the Fnatic game, so I think that's the one that we have to work on, and that's the lesson that we learned, that we still have a long way to learn.
I see. Well, even with this loss, you still managed to get first seed in what was commonly called the group of death. So I want to know, what is your take on you and SKT being the Reapers in the group of death?
네, 이제 사실 죽음의 조라고 불리는 그런 C조에서 이제 SKT 페이커 선수와 함께 이제 죽음을 수확하는 그런 리퍼 역할이셨습니다. C조에서 경험은 어땠나요?
확실히 전통적인 팀들이 많다 보니까 저희가 준비를 엄청 많이 했었는데 그래도 이렇게 1등으로 올라가게 돼서 앞으로 있을 경기에서도 좀 자신감을 많이 갖고 할 수 있을 것 같아요.
So because there were a lot of teams with long history, we really did our best in terms of preparation. So I think with this first seed position, we will be able to have bigger confidence going to other stages.
I agree. And after all these years, every time you enter a championship, people still fear you. And you have 3 titles right now, and you're still chasing for the 4th one. So tell me, what drove you after all these years to overcome yourselves on big stage?
네, 이제 페이커 선수가 벌써 3개나 타이틀을 갖고 계신데도 항상 롤드컵 무대에 등장할 때마다 상대 팀들이 항상 경계하고 두려워합니다. 이제 2번째 타이틀을 향해서 달려가고 계신데 어떤 점에서 항상 동기부여를 받으시면서 열심히 노력하고 계신가요?
저는 언제나 몇 번째 우승이건 그런 거는 중요하게 생각하고 있지 않고요. 제가 오히려 이제 그냥 우승하고 싶은 욕구가 언제나 좀 크기 때문에 이번에도 역시 어느 때보다 더 우승하고 싶고 그래서 더 열심히 하게 되는 것 같아요.
So, well, the number of trophies I have doesn't really matter. I always have huge desire to get the win. So I just want to win the Worlds this year again, like never compared to other years.
And I wish you good luck on that. 감사합니다, Faker, for the interview. Thank you, Jisan, for the translation, as always. And back to you guys.
And thank you very much, Laure. Faker focusing on the task ahead of him, one world championship at a time. I think he's probably the only person in the world of League of Legends who can say that, but still showing dominance after all these years. SKT moving out of Group C as the first seed, the most dominant team hands down in the group, along with Fnatic. And of course, that sadly does mean that both RNG and Clutch Gaming are knocked out of the 2019 World Championship.
Holy moly. Honestly, it's just the group of death that you have to consider. It's disappointing because honestly, I felt like Uzi was playing out of his mind. It was very hard to find any flaws in RNG. Even in those games against SKT, it was always so close. And then there was the Gragas barrel, or maybe even a Gangplank barrels. A lot of barrels, apparently. But in general, disappointing things about RNG that I felt could have been fixed potentially.
And it's frankly really bittersweet to see one of the teams, Fnatic or RNG, go home. When you kind of look at the holistic picture, it felt like everyone was looking at this group like, oh, this is such a shame. Why can't we send 3 teams through? But by the hair on their chinny chin chin, Fnatic and SKT conquered these spots. And it's sad to see RNG go. They were a phenomenal team.
RNG and especially Uzi, and of course Clutch as well for a first world championship. I think a lot of solid performances, and while it didn't ultimately find a win, you did see, I'll say, some heroic moments from that squad, and gave Fnatic the game to start the day.
It's unfortunate because history will not, history rarely remembers the losers, and it won't be kind here, but where RNG finished is not indicative of their strength in this tournament, and I don't think that that's a controversial statement.
Always just kind of be remembered, and that's the sad thing, is you just look at the scoreline, you look at they're knocked out, you look at Clutcher being 0-6, the first NA team to do so, you kind of just go for the headlines. But look at back, see the moments that you appreciate, and of course one of those moments is the Fnatic final fight. We have team comms coming through. I have no idea what to expect from this, but would not surprise me if there were more than a few expletives as we take a look at that one.
Anyone, Casio?
I'm coming
It's
mid.
in play. In play. Nar. Make an arm.
There's one shot.
Can we go Nexus? Can we go Nexus?
Yeah. Just
I
go
got
forward.
Nexus,
Go forward.
I got
Okay,
Nexus.
Go Nexus.
Go
Go
forward.
Nexus.
It's
Nice,
only 3
guys.
people.
Don't
Come on,
flash Lulu. Don't flash
Nice
Lulu.
zone. Guys.
Don't flash Ezreal. No flash Lulu. No flash Ezreal. No flash Lulu.
Lulu.
Penta.
It's alright, it's right. I don't care. It's right.
Just end the game.
Just end it.
Go, guys.
Nice, go.
And there could not be a more perfect LEC mic check. And when the pressure is on, it's are we diving the fountain to give someone a pentakill? Well, I mean, just a wild day. One more group stands in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. If it's anything like today, it's going to be an absolute banger. Tomorrow, we return to the Verdi Music Hall for the last day of groups as the teams in Group D take to the stage.
Who you got?
It's,
Yamato?
Honestly, the comparison between this group and the last group is that it felt like it was said and done already with SKT and RNG. This one, we have 3 teams on 2-1, and you asked me who I got? I got IG and TL because I have no faith in Damon's bot lane.
Ooh, that's some spicy takes.
And IG, you know, is a cocktail of a team, but I feel like if Jakilov just cuts down on the inting, where he just dies 1v1 to this inting Damon bot lane, I'm very harsh with the word inting, very loose with it.
It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day. This is the cooldown after
Can
all.
you cut down on the inting, please?
Just Damwon, I feel like Rookie and the Shy, my questions have been answered. I feel like their form is really, really insane. I feel like Lian is a jungler that doesn't do much, but it's been working in some of the games. And I feel like when it comes to the bot lane, if Jakilov steps up and plays like he did in the regular season, then IG can be the clear favorite.
But I don't think IG is the controversial half of the 2 teams that you have making it out of groups. Team Liquid coming through, the final hope of NA. I'll say right off the bat, Xmithy compared to MSI looks like a different player. Has been everywhere on the map. I thought he's had a fantastic performance so far, but what's the edge for them? Is it just the difference in bot lane? Is Danwon's chances of getting out just taken away from them because you don't have faith in nuclear?
Honestly, it's, you know, if you force me to predict the other way, I would be fine with it. I think it's going to be super, super close. The reason why I'm giving it to Liquid is I feel like Damwon, with the amount of games they've played, they're kind of a known quantity. And the same could be said for Team Liquid, but the last time they faced each other, I felt like they didn't really accept the bullshit that Damwon are throwing out there, where Noguri is face-shaking bushes, playing kind of however he wants, and Impact called on that bullshit good time, and they punish with good fights.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the sentiment. I actually do have Damwon coming out of that group, though, over TL. And it's simply because I think that Xmithy has had a phenomenal tournament, but I think he can be exploited and he can be punished. And I expect teams to start really targeting that. And I think that individually on kind of the 2 solo laners that Damwon have, that they are stronger at their highest peak than Jinsen and Impact. Impact known as a very strong weak side. And yeah, he has stepped up, but you slowly start to see Damwon really start to evolve and change, and they're slowly getting better. And now I'm looking at Griffin, who also had a pretty shaky day 1 and then had a phenomenal day 2. And I'm like, I wonder who they're screaming. I wonder what's happening here. I just have an inkling that Damwon are going to look much scarier than they did the first time around.
Something I would like to toss in is I feel like draft has been super, super important. And when I look at the Korean teams, SKT today pulling off the Griffin draft with the Camille Akali flex, if Damwon will follow that note and they are in the same kind of scrim bubble where they play these flex picks, all of a sudden maybe Noguri can be on a counter matchup even on blue side. And if that happens, I think it's going to be rough. But when Impact gets a good matchup, it looks good.
All right, but a split desk, and that's really all you can ask for as we move into the final day. It's been, honestly, just 3 crazy days so far, and we just have to hope that day 4 will live up to the hype. But of course, if you missed any of today's action, be sure to stick around for our read broadcast starting in just a few minutes. Check out all the games. If you're just tuning in now for the read broadcast, it's very questionable, but watch it all again, folks. That's all that matters. That's going to be all from us here in Berlin. Thank you. We're going to be back tomorrow for the last day of groups. We'll see you then.
On the side with a huge barrel, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's now running fearlessly to the front line of RNG. They're trying to kick him back, with Zhao, who says no. They deny it. Teddy now on a rampage. RNG on a retreat, and SKT, they're alive. Uzi is going to get kicked back, but over the cleanse flash. It's incredibly clean. He denies the lease in, but now he's face to face with Teddy, and still Click will find him. Still Uzi is set to fall. Can he do it? Roxy waiting off to the side. Millicent going right into the back line. Fnatic now need to find a way forward. Reckless stepping in. It's a massive engage from the side of Fnatic. Puni cannot get anything done. So much damage to the pipe. But Fnatic will play defense. We'll try to stop this one away. Edward has now been locked up. And then once again, a beautiful Vigar shot. Penny can't get back in the fight. He has to burn cleanse to do so.
The Baron will spawn in a minute. They're not going to overstay. Here comes Clay.
The kick through the Vigar, but still the cage comes out. He stops the engage. Khan has to find a way in. Reckless throwing the feathers through. He wants to pull them back. Khan, this is his hero moment. Can he turn it? The double kill dropping for Whippo. Khan wants to turn the fight, but he doesn't have enough.
As it's open season on the members of Clutch. Speaking of, the fight again.
And we jump back into the action. Carter's already did this time. Remember, look at the damage! Launching and Xiaohu obliterate the North Americans. Faker's going to be joining the fray, so is Khan. Ultimate from Lawless goes out. Clutch Gaming have got the Baron, but can they get out alive? 1, 2, 3. North Americans are down. SKT only lose 1. SK Telecom guarantee the first seed coming out of groups. Here comes Nemesis, throws up the miasma, trying to put the twin fangs onto Xiaohu. He's burning and he's down. Now Caster's the target. He's trying to shove him back. The Sonic Wave misses. Cannon Barrage comes down. Caster throws out the Dragon's Rage kick, but it does nothing. Realm comes in. That's an interrupt. An interrupt on Lightning. He's dead for the first time ever. All 3 European teams make it to the knockout stage.